The divine setup, why the worst moments were actually the beginning of your awakening. There's a moment in every chosen one's life when everything seems to fall apart. The job collapses. The relationship ends. The bank account dries up. You get sick, betrayed, abandoned. And in that moment, it feels like the universe is punishing you. It feels personal, cruel even. Like the world is deliberately trying to break you. But let me tell you something from the deepest truth I've lived and witnessed. What we call bad luck is often divine interference in disguise. It's the universe rerouting your soul because you were never meant to stay where you were. You were meant to become something greater. And for chosen ones, those of us with spiritual contracts written before this life, bad luck isn't random. It's initiation. It's a sacred disruption, a cosmic wake-up call. Because if we won't move consciously, life will move us through collapse. So let me ask you, what if the worst thing that happened to you was actually the moment you were being remembered by the universe? The first time bad luck reveals itself as a gift is when you lose something or someone you thought you couldn't live without. That job you begged for, that partner you idealized, that opportunity you thought was your breakthrough, and when it disappears, you feel like your life is over. But after the grief, after the confusion, something starts to shift. Space opens, stillness creeps in, and in that emptiness, you begin to see clearly. You realize you were clinging to a version of yourself that was never meant to survive your next level. The loss wasn't punishment. It was liberation. Because chosen ones often attach to what's safe, not what's sacred. And sometimes the only way to move into your destiny is to be ripped away from everything that was keeping you small. So ask yourself, what in your life did you think was a curse? That was actually clearing the way for something divine. The second form of disguised grace comes through betrayal, not just by people, but by your own expectations. Maybe a friend turned on you. Maybe a mentor disappointed you. Maybe a community exiled you, and it shattered your trust. It made you question everyone, even yourself. But chosen ones are often too loyal to illusions. We give people roles in our story they were never meant to play. And betrayal, though brutal, is often the only thing that reveals truth. It makes you see who's really with you, and who only loved the mask you wore. It also forces you inward. It activates discernment. It teaches you to anchor in your own intuition instead of outsourcing your worth. So what if betrayal didn't break you? What if it broke the illusion you were living in? What if it was the moment you stopped being loyal to lies and started being faithful to your own frequency? The third time bad luck becomes a divine gift is during a period of complete stagnation. You try everything. Nothing works. You apply, you reach out, you grind, you pray, and the doors stay shut. It's like the universe puts you in a holding pattern with no explanation. You feel forgotten. But what if the delay isn't denial, it's development? What if the universe is preparing the terrain for your next level, and you're trying to plant seeds in soil that isn't ready yet? Chosen ones often carry big missions, and big missions require divine timing. If you move too soon, you'd sabotage the very thing you were meant to build. So the stagnation is sacred. It's the cocoon phase. It's the place where your wings grow in silence. If you're in that space now, don't force your way out. Instead, ask, what part of me is still being refined before the next door opens? The fourth moment when bad luck is actually a blessing is when you face a financial collapse. You lose income. You get hit with unexpected expenses. You feel the walls closing in, and fear grips you. Security vanishes, but chosen ones are often too reliant on external support. And financial collapse forces you to reconnect with the inner economy of your soul. It teaches you resourcefulness. It awakens dormant gifts. It breaks your addiction to false safety. You begin to create from necessity, which is often the birthplace of genius. Many of the most powerful spiritual leaders I've met were initiated through poverty, not because they were meant to suffer, but because they were meant to source their power from within, not from systems. So what if your scarcity season wasn't a punishment, but a sacred reset? What if it was the moment you stopped chasing stability and started embodying abundance as a frequency? The fifth form comes disguised as illness or burnout. Your body breaks down. You can't function like you used to. You're forced to stop. And in that stillness, a deeper voice begins to speak. Because chosen ones often ignore the whispers until they become screams. We override our intuition in the name of productivity. We carry other people's pain like it's our purpose. And illness becomes the only way our soul can get our attention. It's not just about the physical, it's a soul-level shutdown. A sacred pause, a forced realignment. It asks you, what are you carrying that was never yours? What are you building that your soul never signed up for? Illness, for chosen ones, is often the body's way of purifying the path. And when you listen, not just medicate, but listen, you realize the sickness was a message, a teacher, a portal. So ask yourself, what is your body trying to say that your mind refuses to hear? The sixth moment of disguised grace comes through isolation. Everyone disappears. Friends stop calling. You feel invisible, and the silence feels unbearable. But chosen ones often need solitude to receive their next instructions. When the noise of the world dies down, the voice of the soul becomes thunder. Isolation isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's the universe clearing the field so you can recalibrate your frequency. Because your next level won't be built through popularity. It will be built through purity. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. You were meant to be aligned with the few. And isolation is the fire that burns off the false connections, the distractions, the opinions. It's holy ground. So instead of asking, why is no one here for me? Ask, what is trying to reach me that could only come through silence? The seventh and final point in this part is perhaps the hardest to accept. When death or grief enters your life, the loss of someone you love, a sudden tragedy, a mourning so deep it feels like your soul is unraveling. And there's nothing I can say to make that pain logical. But what I can say is this: grief is a doorway. Loss is a portal. And for chosen ones, those who leave us often become part of our guidance system. They don't disappear, they transform. And your grief, if you let it, will become a compass that points you deeper into your purpose. You begin to live for something greater. You begin to see through the veil. You begin to remember that life is not a timeline. It's a spiral. And those we lose are not gone. They're woven into our mission. So what if the grief you carry isn't a weight, but a wingspan? What you've just heard are 7 moments that on the surface felt like bad luck. But beneath them, sacred design, divine redirection, cosmic refinement. Being a chosen one doesn't mean life gets easier. It means life gets intentional. Every challenge is coded with wisdom. Every breakdown is an encoded initiation. The question is, can you decode it before it destroys your faith? The curriculum of collapse, why chosen ones are trained through fire, not favor. If you're still watching this, then let me speak to the part of you that already knows your life has never been ordinary because your soul came here with an extraordinary purpose. And one of the most brutal truths on the spiritual path is this: chosen ones are not trained through comfort. We are trained through collapse, through confusion, through loss, through betrayal. And not because the universe is cruel, but because only fire can reveal what is indestructible. The life you thought you were building isn't the life your soul signed up for. And so the universe tears it down, not to punish, but to align. If you've ever wondered why your life keeps falling apart just when you think you've figured it out, it's because you're being taught through a hidden curriculum. One that doesn't reward you for following rules, but for remembering who you are beneath them. So let's go deeper into this curriculum. Let's decode the sacred logic behind your suffering. The first lesson in the curriculum of collapse is identity disintegration. Chosen ones are often born into roles they never chose. The golden child, the scapegoat, the rebel, the healer. We build personalities to survive our families, our cultures, our religions. And then one day, life rips those masks off. You lose your job, and suddenly you're not successful anymore. You leave the relationship, and suddenly you're not lovable anymore. You hit rock bottom, and suddenly you don't know who you are. But this is the point, because you were never those roles. You were never your status, your career, your performance. Those were the costumes. And collapse comes to strip you back to your essence, to the version of you that existed before the world taught you how to perform. So ask yourself, who are you when there's nothing left to prove? The second lesson is energetic detoxification. When your life falls apart, it's not just about external change, it's about energetic recalibration. Chosen ones often carry frequencies that don't belong to them. Generational trauma, collective pain, old karmic contracts. And crises come to shake those frequencies loose. Think about it. When you're in grief, rage, heartbreak, what happens? You cry, you scream, you tremble, yo isolate. These aren't just emotions, they're purges. Every breakdown is your soul's way of releasing what your ego tried to manage. And the more you resist the release, the more the pain intensifies. So what if your bad luck wasn't bad at all? What if it was your soul's emergency protocol? Initiating a spiritual detox your conscious mind would have never chosen willingly. The third lesson is sacred interruption. You had a plan, a path, a 5-year vision board. And then, boom, the rug gets pulled. The relationship ends. The opportunity vanishes, and you're left questioning everything. But chosen ones don't follow linear timelines. We follow divine detours. And sometimes the universe interrupts your plans because what you're asking for is too small. The vision you're trying to build is still inside the architecture of your old self. And collapse becomes a cosmic no, not because you're failing, but because you're being redirected to a higher octave of your purpose. What if the dream that died was just a seed for something greater? Something you couldn't yet imagine because you were still thinking from survival? What if the delay wasn't punishment, but precision? The fourth lesson is ego annihilation. This is the part no one talks about. When everything falls apart, it doesn't just hurt, it shatters your pride. You have to ask for help. You're forced to admit you don't know. You feel exposed, raw, vulnerable. And that's exactly the point. Because the ego, especially the spiritual ego, is clever. It wants control. It wants certainty. It wants certainty. It wants to be the teacher, the leader, the one who has it all figured out. But chosen ones are only powerful when they're empty, when they stop performing wisdom and start embodying it. Collapse is not just about losing what you have, it's about losing who you think you are. And in that sacred humility, something miraculous happens. You become available to grace. So ask yourself, what version of you still thinks it has to be in control? The fifth lesson is alignment through limitation. When you're stripped of money, time, health, or support, you start to realize how much of your life was built on momentum, not intention. You were saying yes to things just to avoid discomfort. You were tolerating relationships that drained you because they were familiar. You were busy, but not aligned. And limitation forces you to get clear. Suddenly, you only have energy for what truly matters. You stop chasing. You start listening. You begin to build your life from soul, not scarcity. So what if the limitation you're facing right now is not a block, but a filter, a sacred constraint designed to remove everything that isn't in alignment with your truest path? The sixth lesson is divine dependency. Chosen ones often carry a deep wound around trust. We've been let down, abandoned, told not to feel. So we rely on ourselves. We become hyper-independent. But that's not strength, it's trauma with good branding. And collapse comes to break the illusion of self-reliance. It forces you to surrender, to pray, to listen, to let go. And in that surrender, you begin to form a new relationship with Source, with your guides, with your higher self. You begin to realize that you're not alone, that you were never meant to carry this by yourself. That divine help has always been waiting, but it needs your invitation. So ask yourself, where in your life are you still acting like you have to do it all alone? The seventh lesson is soul recalibration through contrast. You don't know what peace is until you've lived through chaos. You don't know truth until you've been lied to. You don't know your power until you felt completely powerless. This is the paradox of the chosen one's path. Your pain is the compass. Every dark season revealed what you are not, so you can remember what you are. You begin to trust your discernment. You stop making decisions from fear. You stop chasing love and start embodying it. You stop surviving and start creating. You start to live from your soul, not your story. The darkness didn't come to destroy you. It came to define you. And once you've walked through that fire, you carry a frequency that cannot be faked. You become medicine. This is the curriculum of collapse. It's not taught in schools. It's not posted on Instagram infographics. It's written in the language of silence, shadow, and surrender. And if you're in the middle of it right now, let me remind you, you are not being punished. You are being prepared. The world doesn't need more polished people. It needs initiated ones. Broken open, soul awake, frequency carrying, truth living chosen ones who have walked through the dark and remembered the light. In the next part, we will reveal the final layer. How to alchemize every collapse into spiritual fuel. How to activate your divine mission from your darkest moments. And how to walk out of the fire not just healed, but reborn. Alchemy of the abyss, how chosen ones turn collapse into their highest calling. There comes a point in every chosen one's life when you realize you didn't just survive the collapse, you became something else inside of it. And that's where the alchemy begins. Because chosen ones are not just survivors. We are transmuters. We are the ones who take the ashes of our former selves and build temples from them. We are the ones who find medicine in our heartbreak, power in our silence, clarity in our confusion. But this alchemy doesn't happen automatically. It requires sacred choice. We must decide that our pain will not be wasted, that our trauma will not be our identity, that our fall will not be our ending, it will be our initiation into mastery. The abyss isn't the void, it's the womb. And if you're willing to stay present inside the darkness long enough, you will realize it was never empty. It was pregnant with your next becoming. So let's talk about how to turn your collapse into your calling. The first step in alchemy is radical witnessing. This means looking at your pain without flinching, without numbing, without spiritual bypassing. You don't rush to forgive when you haven't even grieved. You don't cover it in light when the wound is still bleeding. You sit with it. You look into the eyes of your own shadow. You name what hurt. You name what died. You name what you lost. Because only what is fully faced can be fully transformed. Chosen ones often carry deep emotional intelligence, but we've been trained to suppress it to keep others comfortable. Alchemy begins when we stop lying to ourselves about how much it hurt. So ask yourself, what truth have I been avoiding because I was afraid it would break me, when it's actually the truth that will set me free? The second step is narrative transmutation. Every collapse comes with a story. I failed. They left me. God forgot me. But that story is often written by the part of you that was still in survival mode. And alchemy requires you to become the author again. You rewrite the narrative, not to deny the pain, but to reclaim the power. You didn't fail, you were redirected. They didn't leave you, you were released. God didn't forget you, you were being refined. This isn't just wordplay, it's energetic surgery. You're changing the frequency of the memory. You're choosing to become the version of you who learned, not the one who lost. So take a moment and ask, what is the story I've been telling? And what is the higher truth that's been waiting for me to speak it? The third step is devotional action. Alchemy isn't just emotional, it's embodied. You have to take the wisdom you gained and build with it. Start speaking, start creating, start serving, start showing up as the version of you who knows what the fire taught you. This is where most chosen ones get stuck. They wait until they feel ready. But alchemy doesn't wait for perfection. It moves through devotion. When you turn your pain into purpose, you shift from victim to vessel. You become a living transmission. People won't even know your whole story, but they'll feel your frequency. And that's how you serve. Not by being flawless, but by being real, being raw, being true. So ask yourself, what action can I take today that honors what I've survived? The fourth step is soul integration. You're not just here to heal, you're here to integrate. That means bringing all parts of you into wholeness. The part that doubted, the part that fell, the part that raged, the part that wanted to give up. You don't exile them, you welcome them home. Because true alchemy isn't becoming someone better, it's becoming someone deeper, someone whole. Your inner child, your shadow, your higher self, they all sit at the same table now. Integration means you no longer fear your past, you own it. And that ownership becomes your strength. You stop leaking power. You stop hiding from your own story. You become unshakable. So ask yourself, what part of me is still waiting to be welcomed home? The fifth step is sacred service. This is the moment you realize your story was never just about you. Your pain carries a frequency that someone else needs. Your healing becomes a map for others, and your wounds become the places where your light shines the brightest. Chosen ones are here to transmit codes, not just through teaching but through being. When you walk through the world embodied in your truth, you shift rooms. You awaken people. You remind them of who they are. And this isn't about being a guru or a savior. It's about being real in a world full of illusion. It's about being love in a world that's forgotten how to feel. Your service is your presence, your story, your frequency. So ask yourself, who could be set free just by hearing how you survived? The sixth step is gratitude from the soul level. Not forced gratitude, not fake positivity, but a deep, quiet thank you that rises from the bones of your being when you realize every moment was leading you back to yourself. You begin to see how the pain shaped your purpose, how the loss created space for truth, how the betrayal revealed your boundaries, how the silence amplified your soul. And in that moment, you don't just forgive life, you bless it. You bless the fire. You bless the fall. You bless the divine chaos that cracked you open, because you finally see you were never being broken, you were being forged. So ask yourself, what moment am I ready to bless, not because it was easy, but because it made me who I am today? And the seventh, final step of alchemy is embodied remembrance. You're not the person who entered the fire. You're not the one who blamed the universe. You're not the one who doubted their worth. You are the one who walked through the abyss and didn't lose your light. And now you walk differently, not with arrogance, but with anchored presence. Not with perfection, but with power. The power of someone who knows who they are. The power of someone who knows why they came. You are no longer just a survivor. You are a frequency, a living portal, a bridge between realms. And the world doesn't just need your story, it needs your embodiment, your walk, your word, your witness. So I ask you, with all the sacred fire in my being, are you ready to live as the one the collapse was trying to reveal? This is the final gift of the collapse. Not just survival, not just healing, but transfiguration. You become the thing you were always meant to be. Not in spite of the pain, but because of it. Your life becomes the sermon. Your scars become sacred scripts. And your presence becomes the proof that bad luck was never bad. It was a disguised blessing, coated with your highest destiny.